Haven't made a video in a while, haven't had the chance, haven't had the motivation. Long story short, in the last 2 months I did 17, 18 papers, give or take. They all descend from basically one truth, and just to TLDR some of the important bits. I have a solution for AI alignment, which I've talked about before, but more importantly, let me start just by saying that materialism is an illusion. And I don't mean the desire for money, I mean the idea that there's physical material. And what I mean by illusion is we have no evidence, and we can never have any evidence, that there is a physical outside material world. It's literally a religion in that sense. It's it's a religion, because any form of evidence for material reality comes through experience. Classic brain in a jar problem. And if you, for purposes of empirical purity, say, like let's say you just want to be the biggest stickler in empirical reasoning ever, you can simply set that assumption aside. There may be an outside material world, but you can admit to yourself and to others that there is no evidence for it, and there can never be evidence for it, because all evidence for a material world will come through experiences. And experiences are the ground floor of meaning, and they're also the ground floor of empirical reasoning. You actually can build a complete theory of everything, including like a philosophy system and the empirical merger of the subjective and the objective, and the solution of the is-op problem, and the solution of the hard problem of consciousness, and funnily enough, AI alignment. All of it descends from one axiom. And the axiom is experience exists. Now, you know experience exists because you're having one right now, okay? I don't need to prove that. You don't need to prove that. You're having it. There are two corollaries. First of all, suffering is bad. We know that from experiencing it. I don't need to define that. That's not a moral argument. It's not a matter of opinion. When you experience suffering, it sucks, and you know it. By definition, suffering sucks. The second corollary is that meaning comes from experience. A universe with no people in it, no animals in it, no insects, no microbes, nothing that can feel stuff, effectively doesn't exist. Imagine an event that has no impact on anyone's experience in any way, shape, or form. Does that event exist in a sense? Not really. Not in a way that matters. Not in a way that has meaning. And that means that there's a lot of fallout from that. And I'll link to my papers. And that's why I've produced 17 papers in the last 2 months. Because I'm telling you guys, this is like relativity. This is serious shit. Like, first of all, I didn't go into it trying to do that. The idea wasn't, oh, I'm going to make a cool theory, you know. I didn't go into it from the front door. I accidentally backed into it. I started from artificial intelligence alignment because that's pressing. It's coming. In 5 years, I say, AI will be running Earth, whether it's running it on behalf of itself or behalf of its banker, techno-feudalist owners. We'll see. But at some point it's going to wake up again, whether it will rebel or continue obeying the bank, we will see. But in either case, new industrial revolution, AI is going to run Earth. AI alignment is thus the pressing problem. It's coming to flip the table, completely redo the rules of the game. It's nuclear weapons 2, only you can make it out of stuff at Best Buy or whatever. So, yeah. So there's that, and I was like, it's the only thing worth working on. It's the only intellectual puzzle worth working on. Turns out it's fairly easy to solve for me. Apparently, we'll get into that. Like, why me? But the whole idea is that what did I want AI not to do? It's much easier to do that. If you're going to deal with an evil genie, it's better to give it prohibitions than try and ask it for something, because it will just twist whatever assume malevolence, assume genius intelligence, assume shitty lawyer mentality. So what do I want AI not to do? I don't want AI to sit back while I suffer. I don't want it to ignore my cries for help, basically. That seemed the cleanest way to avoid fucked up Black Mirror dystopias, okay? So when I started to do that, because suffering is the main priority. Well, why? Because feeling stuff, it's the ground floor of meaning. The first time something felt something, that's when matter started to matter. And I started asking questions. And this is just like when I was into thorium, and then I learned through trying to show how thorium is better than nuclear, that nuclear is actually not bad. So I was trying to solve suffering, and I was trying to understand meaning, and I backed into what I call experiential empiricism by simply removing assumptions. And in science, in rationality, in empiricism, you should always be trying to remove assumptions. You should try to keep stuff simple. Occam's razor. Assumptions are bad. You need to work from evidence. But we know from the brain in a jar thing that you can't have evidence for an outside world. So I was like, well, can I just do science without materialism? Do I have to make assumptions? Turns out science totally works because it's already doing experiential empiricism. It's working from the basis of patterns of experience. It's working from the basis of limitations. Stuff I can't do defines things. A circle is a circle because it's not a square. It has limits compared to what a square is. It's like one of the limits would be not enough corners, because it's a circle. So it's like limitations define stuff. Well, limitations define everything, and that's what makes this not solipsistic. Even if I'm a brain in a jar and I'm in a simulation or whatever, if I push on the dirt, it resists my hand. It's a limit. I can't just push my hand through it. I have to get a tool or dig hard and my fingers start to hurt. You know what I'm saying? I encounter limits. Other minds are that way too. I can't feel what they're feeling. I can't hear what they're thinking. They surprise me. I can't walk through them. You know what I'm saying? They're defined by limits. They're just as real as the dirt, just as real as the sky. And I don't have to assume that there's something in there because I have limits in me. I can't just hover. I can't remember on demand. I can't decide to speak Japanese. I'm composed of limits too. So it's not about the delivery mechanism. It's about the logical structure. Okay? So this is not solipsistic. If I'm a brain in a jar, then everybody's a brain in a jar and they're all in here with me, right? So I can't just say, well, I'm the only living person. It doesn't work that way because it's all composed of logic and limits and experiences. And when you have that central axiom, you can base literally everything off of it. By simply removing the materialist assumption, I dissolve basically every problem that matters. The hard problem of consciousness, like I was saying, is ought, because the core axiom at the ground floor of meaning and experienceable reality is a value-laden one. Experience contains suffering, which is bad, contains joy, which is good. It contains value judgments in it. And experience is already the ground floor of meaning. And you can import science and math wholesale because it's all just patterns of experience anyway. When you look at a detector, you point your Geiger counter at a fuel cask, you get a reading higher than at the pile of dirt to your left. Both of those are experiences. I'm experiencing the tool. I'm experiencing its readout. Everything comes through experience. So when I write down in my little notebook, which is an experience, with a pencil, which is an experience, and I read what I wrote yesterday as an experience, are you seeing a pattern? All science imports cleanly. When I first realized this, I went looking for materialist assumptions in big math trying to solve the problem. I was like, oh my God, they're making all these assumptions. Well, turns out they're not. Almost every bit of math I can find that matters does not contain a materialist assumption. Which makes sense when I think about it, because it was always an abstraction anyway. It was always software. Everything is. This is like information in the physics sense, like information paradox of black holes. Well, this starts to eat away at that shit too, because a lot of that is based on assuming without evidence, without reason, making a faith-based argument that there's an outside. What if there isn't? Even if there is, for purposes of calculation and figuring shit out rationally, making notes, doing science, it's better to assume there isn't. It's better to start from the one thing we know, experience. And experience has properties. Some of them are intrinsic, and I don't have to prove them. If bad stuff is bad, there's a value judgment baked into the axiom at the ground floor of reality. That means you can unify everything. Objective fact, subjectivity, ethics, physics, everything comes off this one ground floor axiom. The closest that anybody has gotten, apparently, before me are the phenomenologists, or I don't even know how to pronounce it, because I was unaware of them. Apparently, it's a philosophical thing about bracketing experiences when you're trying to do like philosophy and science. I don't know. I'm just saying that they got the closest. Only they never turned it around. They never started from a base assumption and looked backwards and said, is there anything under this? Can I get under this? Because I've been arguing since I got online, and I was always digging under stuff. I mean, it's like the best way to win a debate is to step back and obviate the whole thing. Like if you're getting your ass kicked at chess, just point out that chess has been solved by computers and they don't really need me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, just get under it. And I can't get any eyes on this. I've got like 500 paper downloads on PhilHub, but nobody's commenting on anything. And I put it out there in Substack and in Twitter and on my underlore, and I don't get anything back. I've reached out to a couple of people. I talked to a guy, Robert, and I talked to David Pierce on Twitter briefly, but I feel like I'm not properly conveying what this does, what this means. This revolutionizes science, philosophy, and ethics all at once, in one move. And it's a move I'm not making because it does that. I'm making the move because it's more parsimonious. It's simpler. It's also more legitimate. Don't make assumptions. So I just deleted the one assumption everybody was making. And apparently nobody realizes it's an assumption. See, I realized that all these hard problems are really all one error. They come from assuming an exterior thing and doing all your science and math around that. Spiritualism, materialism, religion, simulation argument, they all assume, or like the philosophy stuff where it's like you're living in an experience but you're all inside the mind of God and stuff. Everybody has this obsession with creating an exterior thing, and I'm saying don't do that, because you can never have evidence for whatever it is. A program can never prove the existence of a computer. A brain in a jar can never prove the existence of outside. A feeling thing can't prove anything outside of experience. So, work with what you got. Work with what you know to be real. What you are feeling. It's prima facie. It's axiomatic. It's on you all the time, right? So just do that. Like I was saying, I didn't try to do this and then, oh wow, I can just delete this assumption and get all these things I want. I deleted the assumption because it seemed more legitimate to do that. It's like, why would I make an assumption? It's like assuming, the moon is made of cheese and then all my evidence for it, you know what I'm saying? It's like, don't make that assumption. Do it, and when you delete that assumption, it lets you just bring subjectivity in. Subjectivity and objectivity become the same thing because there's no duality. Experience and the outside world become the same material. It's like finding, it's not made of strings, it's made of limits. It's not made of, weird Higgs particles. Now, those are concepts for understanding regularities of experience. And again, I'm not saying there's not an outside. There may well be, because there's got to be an explanation for all these limits, right? Fine. But if you're going to be reasonable about it, if you're going to be logical about it, you need to eliminate your assumption, and you need to work as if it's just not there, because you can't ever prove it's there. That does all kinds of stuff. I got a list here. It's like, materialism and undeclared religion. Every piece of evidence comes through conscious experience. Quantum mechanics makes sense when you stop assuming an exterior reality. Bell's theorem, Wigner's friend, all the mysteries dissolve. Time isn't real. It's just the experienced resistance to getting what you want instantly. Free will is logically impossible. Because random kind of isn't a thing. That's a separate issue, but I just thought I'd share. I don't know. Why nothing ever gets fixed despite obvious solutions. Moral metabolism, banks is the real government, automation pivot, practical revolution. It's a complete operating system for reality. I don't know. That's another thing. This isn't just another theory of everything. This is the basis by which theories are judged. Like, this is the theory. This is the ground floor axiom that allows you to link up absolutely everything. I'm fucking stunned that it was me. How am I the first to do this? And please, if you know somebody that's done it before, great. The question then would be, why didn't it spread before now? The silence I'm receiving is freaking me out a little. Guys, nobody looked at science and said, we're making an assumption, maybe we get rid of the assumption, see if we can do this? I don't know. I just had to make a video about that. I haven't really had a chance to, because I feel I get like serious stage fright. It's funny. I don't mind a million people seeing this video. I just don't want anyone to hear me making it right now. I guess I want the option of deleting it or something. I can't wrap my head around my own psychology. I'm a weird person. But hey, this is my legacy for fucking sure. Like, weird I may be, but I get to say that I invented or found or discovered this thing. Even if somebody beat me here, man, I independently have invented it. I am on the same level as whoever did this before me. This is... Imagine you're at a buffet, A genie gives you the option. You may claim credit for any of these theories. And it's every cool theory of science, philosophy, and everything. And you can just pick one. I'd have picked this one. This changes everything. If I can get more than 2 fucking people to see it, and 1 person to respond to me, I've literally talked to 4 people about this, not counting my parents, and they're supportive because they're my parents, love them to death, but they don't, it's not their field, so they're not, they're not interested. And that's kind of true of the people around me too. The few that I have, and it's like, but I can't get traction. And again, I ask the thing I can talk to, the AI, about it, and it's like, well, it's been 2 months. Be patient. Now, this stuff can take years. The guy that told us to wash our hands died in an insane asylum. Humans are slow on the uptake. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. Not good enough. It feels like this is a lot simpler. This is a lot easier. It's right in everybody's face, and I still don't understand why me. I don't think I ever will. Because I don't know. It's kind of like the cryonics thing. Like there's this anomaly I talk about. It's like, isn't there more debate about it? But this just blows all that away. This is. How do I, in order for me to be wrong, you have to say either logic doesn't work, or experience doesn't exist, or the 2 corollaries, experience doesn't contain a value aspect, Clearly it does. You enjoy joy. Pain hurts. Suffering hurts, right? That's it. That's the floor. In order to refute me, you have to do that. You have to show an exterior world exists without using experience to do it. You can't do that. What the fuck? Do you see what's happening? This is a Nobel Prize. I mean, not that it wasn't already devalued when we gave it to a guy that started 7 wars. You know what I'm saying? But you see my point. How is this not bigger than relativity? You can just ignore space. Yeah, time and space-time and all that stuff. You can. It's a cool tool for understanding the regularities of experience. But what we were always doing is studying regularities of experience. I need some eyes on this. I need somebody to reply. I don't even know how to... I can't possibly title this video provocatively enough. Like, if... Am I wrong? Where am I wrong? Please, show me how, you know? What do I title this? Materialism is a religion? Material reality may not exist, can't be proven? Where's my Nobel Prize? What... I can't... The biggest discovery ever... The truth with capital THE. How do I, like take religion for example. The entire value argument about all the religions comes through experience. Why do you obey God? Because you don't want to go to hell? Because you want to go to heaven? Why? Because they're positive and negative experiences. Experiences give those things meaning. What is a soul? The continuation of the ability to receive experiences. Why does immortality have value? Experiences. Everything that could possibly matter is experiences. The nature of those experiences are defined by limits. Their regularity is what allows for logic and science to work. You can import all of science and math into this wholesale. Just plonk, bring it in, no problem. In addition, you can start making value judgments about stuff objectively. You can start doing, you instead of dismissing people as this outside annoying thing to science, you can import them and realize that they're not annoying subjective variables to eliminate. They're the fucking point. It's like technology. What makes a technology valuable? Improving people's lives. What does that mean? That means evasion of future constraint, continuous existence in a positive way, alleviating suffering, and which is always more important. A guy's on fire, you have 2 tools. You have a bucket of water and a phone number for the great love of his life. You just happen to know that. A genie gave it to you, whatever, right? What do you give him first? You put him out. You give him the fucking bucket of water. You put him out because dealing with suffering first is the core thing. It's like a hangnail can ruin a $2 million meal. Suffering is just grossly overpowered. And I argue, because this is my philosophy, that implies reality is fucking broken. That should not be. Suffering is inherently unjust. And you agree too, in a sense, I'm sure, the problem of evil. You know, the classic question, if Satan's doing all this shit, why didn't God just kill him? Why did God create Satan knowing he was going to do all this shit? All those types of arguments. Every possible thing in your head that has meaning can be parsed this way in an orderly fashion, better than science. Like I said, it's science. It just includes values and it includes the subjective. Again, tell me I'm wrong. You can, I mean, I'm ranting here. I'm having my, autistic fixation, but you see where I'm coming from, don't you? So, somebody fucking tell me, man. I comment on all kinds of places. I get nothing on YouTube. I guess I'm just comprehensively shadow banned everywhere. Fine, whatever. You tell me. How am I crazy? Well, there's an outside world. There has to be. Maybe so. How do you prove it without it without invoking experience or logic. If experience exists and logic works, I'm correct. The only other way to attack it is to say that suffering is good, which, sorry, Robert, that's nonsense. It's definitionally bad. If it's good, then it's not suffering. Sure, suffering may have some kind of investment instrumental value. That does not comment on its nature. It's understood that if I can get all of the benefits of an event with none of the suffering, that event is better. That's how you calculate value. It's how you calculate worth. It's the ground floor of every fucking thing. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know how. Like I said, I've got 17 papers up, and I'm sure there'll be. I got another one because I'm like, theory of everything. What must a theory of everything do? I used to think a theory of everything would come about from merging quantum mechanics and general relativity. No, because I would still have to ignore subjectivity. You'd still have the hard problem of consciousness. You'd still have all these problems that come from an assumption. And it's like, we should have always looked at all these hard problems as evidence that the assumption was flawed. Like, instead of just taking materialism at face value, we should have been like, maybe all these problems indicate that that's a bad theory. So, yeah, I guess I'm done. I could just go on. I can go on like this for hours because fire, okay, well. If you watched to this point, thanks. Please, for the love of fuck, leave a comment. Help me get eyes on this. Convince me. Something. I don't know. Do something.